Welcome. My name is Eunice, and thank you for joining me on this journey to mastering our relaxation. This is a yoga stretch sequence for hip flexibility and hip mobility. You can grab any and all props that you may need for today's session. We will be using yoga blocks and a yoga strap. Skip any posture that does not work for your body today, or take a different variation. You can also always just take a child's pose to rest. And remember, your body is the guru. Honor and listen to it. Let's begin in an easy seated pose, Sukhasana, with one shin crossed in front of the other. Relax the hips down, soften your shoulders down, sit up tall, and just take a moment to arrive onto your mat. Let go of the moments and the day that happened before this present moment right here. Softly blink the eyes open. Switch the cross of the legs, bringing the opposite shin forward. You can move the fleshy parts of the upper thighs and the buttocks out of the way to make sure you're sitting up nice and tall. And we're going to move into some upper body rotations, circling the spine over the hips, warming up the hips and the spine. And now you can take your rotations in the opposite direction. Release the upper body rotations and come back to center. Place the fingertips on the ground on either side of the legs and take a moment to inhale and lengthen through the spine. As you exhale, hinge from the hips and come forward as far as you can. Draw your heart center forward and the shoulders down and back, and breathe into this seated forward fold. Inhale to release, come back up through center, and let's move it to the right side. Inhale, lengthen the back. Exhale, fold forward, sending the heart towards the right knee. See if you can feel any sensation or stretch in the lower left back. Inhale, come back upright. Take another inhale to lengthen the spine, and exhale, folding towards the left knee, plugging both hips into the ground and relaxing both knees. Inhale, bring the body back upright. Let's move into the hips a little bit more. Bring both soles of the feet to the ground, feet are hips distance apart. Place the hands behind the hips. We're going to move into some knee drops. Take an inhale, and then exhale, drop the knees over to the left. Inhale the knees through center and drop them over to the right as you exhale. And continue back and forth with this flow. And when you drop the knees towards the ground, send the heart forward to stretch into the upper back and the shoulders. Next time your knees drop to the ground, just take a pause. Send the heart forward and send the shoulder heads back. Then release, drop them to the opposite side, setting the heart forward, relaxing the shoulders down. Come back to center and lengthen the legs out in front of you. Draw the left knee towards the chest, placing the left foot on the ground. And drop the left knee out to the left sole of the foot on the inside of the right thigh. You can use a yoga strap for this stretch. Lengthen the spine as you inhale, and when you find your exhalation, fold forward over the right leg, grabbing a hold of the shin, the ankle, or the foot, or looping your yoga strap around the right arch of the foot. Flex the right toes towards the face. Keep a flat back. Take an inhale to release and come upright. Draw the left knee in towards the chest, placing the left foot flat on the ground. Cross the left foot over the right leg. Place the left foot on the ground outside the right thigh. On an inhale, sit up nice and tall. Draw the right arm up overhead. And as you exhale, twist over to the left, placing the left hand on the ground behind the hip and wrapping the right arm around the left knee or hooking the right elbow on the left leg. Draw the shoulders down and send the heart forward. Keep the right toes flexed. Take an inhale to release and come back to center. Moving over to the other side. Draw the right knee in towards the chest. Let the right knee fall over to the right. Sit up nice and tall, flexing the left toes towards the face. And as you exhale, fold forward towards the left toes, using your yoga strap here if you used it on the right side. Let's find our spinal twists. Inhale to release. Take the right foot over the left leg, placing the right foot on the ground outside the left thigh. Inhale, draw the left arm up overhead, and exhale to twist over towards the right, wrapping the left arm around the right leg or hooking the left elbow on the right leg. Inhale to release, come back to center, and let's move into butterfly pose, Baddha Konasana. Bring the soles of the feet together. Draw the heels in closer towards the groin for a deeper stretch, or draw the heels away to decrease the intensity. Interlace the fingers around the feet, creating a basket with the hands. Sit up nice and tall, draw the shoulders down, ground down through the hip, relax the knees towards the ground, send the heart forward. Soften the face and send your breath all the way down to your lower belly. When you find your next inhalation, gently release the legs and find your way onto all fours for tabletop position. Spread the fingers nice and wide and position the wrists right under the shoulders. Hands are shoulders distance apart. Place the knees right under the hips. Knees are hips distance apart. And let's find some cat-cows. On an inhale, drop the belly down, send the tailbone up. Exhale, push into the ground, round through the upper back. As you inhale, draw the shoulders back, send the heart forward, tailbone up. And exhale, push into the ground and then to the shins and round through the upper back. Link your breath and the movement and move through a few more cat-cows. Bring the spine back to center and move the knees back. Begin to make hip circles in one direction, checking in with your body and deciding if you want to make your hip circles small or large. And then switch the direction of your hip circles. When the hips come forward, make sure to send the heart forward and the shoulders back. Release the hip circles and keep the hips stacked right over the knees. Walk the hands forward to melt the chest forward and bring the head down for puppy pose, using a blanket or a block under the forehead if needed. Engage the abdominal muscles to keep a flat back and soften the shoulders and the upper back. Use your inhalation to release, and then exhale, lie flat on the stomach. We're going to prepare for half frog, starting with the left leg. Bend the left knee over to the left, making a 90-degree angle with the left knee. Flex the left toes towards the left knee to protect the knee and the ankle. And push the pelvis into the ground to make sure the hips are squared and even. And you can stay here upright on your forearms or melt the chest and the forehead down, resting the head either on the ground or stacked forearms. You can also place a block or blanket under the forehead. As you breathe here, work to release the left hip down to the ground. Inhale to release, bring the left leg back to center, and let's move over to the right side. Bending into the right knee, flexing the right toes towards the right knee. Push the pelvis into the ground. And soften the upper body down if you're taking this variation. Release the right leg back to center and come up onto all fours. We're gonna find full frog pose. Take the knees apart wide as the mat or wider, finding your edge, the point to where you feel a good stretch without pain. Make sure the knees and the ankles are aligned. Flex the toes towards the knees. You can stay up on the hands, just pushing the hips back, or to move deeper, come down onto the forearms or flat onto the stomach. You can hold here, just breathing into the hips and the groin, or you can invite some small micro movement, pushing the hips forward and back. Avoid overarching the lower back, which we tend to do to avoid sensation. Keep a flat back by drawing the abdominal muscles in. Inhale to release, frog. Draw the heels together, then bring the knees in towards each other. Let's move into downward facing dog. Spread the fingers wide with the wrists under the shoulders and tuck the back toes under. When you find your exhalation, push the hips up and back, sending the chest towards the upper thighs. Take a pedal out through the legs and the feet, relieving and releasing the pose. Let's find pigeon pose. Bend the right knee and send the right knee in between the hands, bringing the right knee towards the inner right wrist. You can bring the right shin parallel with the front of the yoga mat or draw the right heel in towards the hips. And you can use a block or a blanket under the right hip to bring the ground up closer for support. Use the left back toes to walk the left knee back. Draw the left hip forward and the right hip back to square the hips. And come up onto the fingertips to take an inhale and lengthen the spine. Let's find a flow. As you exhale, fold forward. Inhale, roll up slowly, lengthen the spine, send the heart forward. Then exhale to fold forward. Try this one more time. When you find your exhalation, you'll stay down, resting the head either on stacked fists, the forearms, the ground, or another block. Soften the back body, soften the toes. Make sure you're not clenching your jaw. On your next inhalation, push into the hands, bring the body upright. Tuck the left back toes under and push back into downward dog. Take a pedal out through the legs to release. You can bend into the right knee and send the right knee up. Make some circles with the leg to release the leg a little bit further. Let's move to the left side. Bend the left knee forward in between the hands Sending the left knee towards the left wrist, setting up your legs for pigeon and using any prop that you may need under the left hip. Square the hips by drawing the left hip back and the right hip forward. And let's move into that upper body flow. Coming up onto the fingertips, you'll inhale, send the heart forward, grow long, and then exhale, fold forward. Try this twice more. And as you find your exhalation, you'll come down to stay down, resting the head on the hands or on a prop. Soften the hips, soften the heart centered down towards the ground. Inhale to release, push into the hands and remove any props and place them to the side. And tuck the right toes under and push back into downward facing dog. Pedal out through the legs. Bend into the left knee and make some large hip circles to relieve the joint. Inhale to place the knees down. Let's find a child's pose. Bring the big toes to touch and take the knees out wide. And stay upright for a moment, pushing the hands into the ground, pushing the hips back, and move the spine and the upper body from side to side. Just bring some intuitive movement before we melt forward into child's pose. And release the movement and melt the heart down. Sending the breath as you breathe to your lower belly, to the lower back. Soften the back body and the shoulders. Inhale, lift your gaze to release child's pose. And make your way over your legs. We're going to find our way onto our backs. But first, grab a yoga block or a bolster or a pillow. Keep it close by and come to lie flat on your back. Keep both knees bent, bring the soles of the feet to the ground, and see if you could touch the backs of the heels with the fingertips. Let's move into supported bridge. On an inhale, push into the ground with the feet and lift the hips. And then take your block or your bolster right under the hips. Make sure to move your shoulder blades, your scapulas, onto the back so the shoulder heads are moving and rolling back. The upper back is flat. Let the hips grow heavy into your support. You can stay in supported bridge, or you have the option to move deeper. I'm going to bend the right knee in towards the chest. Grab a hold of the back of the thigh or right below the knee and just make some ankle rotations. Relax the shoulders and relax the hips here. To move deeper, you can lengthen out the left leg, feeling more of a stretch in front of the left hip. Inhale to release. Let's switch sides. Keeping the right foot flat on the ground and the right knee bent, draw the left knee in towards the chest. And just make some ankle rotations. You can stay here if this is enough. If you want to move deeper, lengthen out the right leg. the left foot down and bring the right foot and the left foot flat on the ground for a supported bridge. Or you can lengthen the left leg long. Both legs are outstretched long. To get a nice stretch for the front of the body and lengthen the arms up overhead. If you feel any pinching or crunching or tingling in the lower back, you will release the posture immediately. Bend into both knees and bring both soles of the feet onto the ground. Push into the feet, lift the hips, remove your support, and drop both knees in towards the chest for a counter pose. You can stay here or bring the head towards the knees, rolling yourself up into a ball, stretching out the back body. Release the head back down to the ground. You can stay still or roll from side to side, just introducing a massage to the back of the hips and the whole back line. Bring the soles of the feet together and grab a hold of the outer edges of the feet and push the knees away from the shoulder heads. You can stay here, or you can open the legs up wide into happy baby pose. Soles of the feet point up, draw the knees down towards the ground, relax the hips, relax your shoulders and your upper back down into the ground. If you want to play with your balance, you could take a rock from side to side, massaging the back of the body. You can always hold happy baby pose, or you have the option to alternate between a hamstring stretch between the legs. Lengthen out one leg, keeping the opposite leg bent, and then lengthen out the opposite leg. If you feel it in your body today, you can lengthen out both legs. Release the legs down and let's find our final resting pose, Savasana, corpse pose. You could take it flat on the ground, stretching the legs out, taking the legs wide, arms by the sides. Or you can join me for a supported butterfly pose for our final resting pose. You can use stacked pillows or a bolster, placing it behind the hips, and then grabbing blocks to go under the knees. Bring the soles of the feet together. Position your blocks under the knees. And then lie back, tucking the shoulder blades under the upper body. Taking the arms out wide, palms face up. Relax the toes, the ankles, the shins. Let the knees fall into the blocks or your support. Relax the hips, the belly, the lower back. Soften your heart center. Let the shoulders fall back. Relax the hands, the fingers, the forearms, and the upper arms. And as you exhale, soften your neck and your jaw, the muscles in the cheeks. Release the muscles that surround the eyes. Release the muscles at the corners of the eyes. Soften the space between your eyebrows and your forehead. Soften the muscles of the crown of the head. Soften and relax the whole body. Take an inhale and make some micro movements in the hands and the toes. And if you're in reclined butterfly, you'll bring the knees back together. You can lengthen the arms up overhead, stretch the body long. And then roll the body onto one side and take a pause. Extend gratitude to your body, to yourself, for showing up to practice, for taking a moment to be mindful and to connect with your body. Push into the ground and come to a seated position. Ground down through the hips as you grow tall through the crown of your head. Take a moment to check in and connect with your body and see if you feel a difference from this moment right now to when you started your practice. On an inhale, send the arms out, around, and up. The palms come to touch overhead. And rest the palms on the forehead as a reminder that you are the master of your Zen. Palms come to rest at the lips as a reminder to communicate our truth with authenticity and kindness. Palms come to rest at the heart center as a reminder to know thyself and love thyself. Thank you for practicing with me. Peace and ease to you. If you enjoyed this session and it helped you, please share it with someone that it can help. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll always be aware of when I post. Until next time.